Okay, so this lesson is going to be on optimal positioning. Now, there's off angling and knowing where you should be to kind of control space. But then when you break it down a little bit smaller, there's an optimal place to stand in those areas to get the most amount of value. And it's something that I don't think many people think about, especially as most people think that you should just like stand in the open and get heals and whoever has better aim wins. But as someone who doesn't have the greatest aim, I'll show you tricks to make it easier to increase your amount of damage output and increase your survivability without necessarily needing to have better aim in order to win these games. Because what I'm going to show you is how this holds up through different ranks and through different heroes the whole way through, and how no matter what, it's the same across the board. You can take this lesson on any hero at all and then any rank, and it will always be helpful. So the first one here, I was learning Punisher, and this is like in silver. And I will show you how, even though in silver everybody is making mistakes, and you're going to sit there and think to yourself, well, my team is doing all of this stuff. It's like, it doesn't matter what your team is doing. Your team is going to make mistakes. The thing is that you don't. And that's how you sort of carry your games, is that you continuously, no matter what your team is doing, always be doing the right thing. So, first, on this map, I am positioning up in this area. And the reason why is because of the fact that, first of all, this area is high ground advantage. You have good vision of this area, you have good vision of here, and you have lots of cover that you can retreat around. And it's very easy to get away. You don't hold up here like these guys are about to do, because of the fact that even if you kill someone, their spawn door is right here. It's also very easy to collapse in on you, so you don't do stuff like this. This is why like you players are not holding the door. You're like, why are you not there? It's because of the fact that it's too dangerous. You play areas that are you can get the most amount of value while also being in the safest position possible. So let's start here. Immediately, they're going to start engaging. But you see how, like, even though they're engaging, I'm not going to put myself at risk for what they're about to do. And right here, as my team engages, you're going to notice I stand perfectly still and start shooting. And now, normally, if you stand still, you're an easier target. But the thing is, nobody else is looking at me, and I know nobody else is looking at me. My aim gets better when I start standing still, and I don't have to wiggle back and forth, and I just focus on shooting with my mouse. You move when people are looking at you, so that way you mess up their aim. But the thing is, when you move, you also mess up your own aim. There are situations you don't need to move. Like right here, you're going to notice that I back around this corner and I stand perfectly still and I start shooting at the thing. And the reason why is because of the fact that I know that the enemy LOS from here, nobody else can see me, but I can see him perfectly. And I have clear shots of him. And I don't need to do anything other than just apply pressure to this person who's now out of position. I am perfectly safe here. And every single time, no matter what position I'm taking, I am always thinking to myself, how can I shoot just the target I want to see and not be seen by everybody? Because we all know that like the moment that you're taking a duel with someone, you could take a chunk of damage and you might be able to die. But when two people look at you, you could suddenly just get deleted like that. So I take my fights in a very smart way to avoid getting seen by too many people at once. And here, because of the fact that now people are looking at me, now I'm moving. But now I can see nobody's looking at me, so I don't need to move. Now you just continue to pump in damage. And even though I'm not killing anyone, I'm applying pressure so they don't walk forward. Because right now they're focused on my tanks. And you see how now that he starts looking at me, now I'm moving. And now I'm moving, and every time I get back and I reload, I'm going behind cover. You're always going to see that I am never that far away from cover, whether I'm on tank or support or DPS. I am always sitting there and asking myself, where's my cover in case it gets dicey? Because anytime someone dies, you're looking and you're like, oh, well, you died out there. There's no way, there's no cover out there. You were going to. So here I am. And I rotate back and forth. Like, even as I walk across, I'm shooting and I get to the other side and I get to more cover. I try to grapple up here because I like the position I had. And then because I'm bad, I fall. So here I'm applying more pressure. And just shooting like crazy. And you can see that I'm not even really doing anything in terms of aim. I am shooting straight down at head level and strafing back and forth. I'm not wiggling my mouse a bunch. Oh, and by the way, look, even in silver, I get behind cover, I stand still, I ping, I need healing, and even they can heal me, right? This is why when people are just like, "Oh, my teammates, my teammates, my teammates," your teammates, yes, the supports will react faster the higher you climb, but so will the enemies. So it makes it much easier. If you make it much easier on your team, then it'll happen. Like you can't be expecting, uh, you know, players in lower rank to react to the same speed at higher elo players without going up against the same sort of damage in return. So right here, after I get healed, the thing starts to pressure me, right? There is an optimal range that every character has, right? In terms of where they're the most lethal. Tanks like this, who, like the Hulk and the Thing, their damage is up close. You don't want them to get up close. So I start backing away and shooting him in the head. And the reason why I am in this position, I have cover in this room. No one can see me. And directly out here, all of my supports, my Jeff, my Luna, and my team can see me and have direct LOS of me. I am constantly keeping in mind not just who I'm shooting, but who on the enemy team can see me and where my team can also have LOS of me. So it's never just like, oh, I'm just going to do my thing and rotate and take an off angle and try and shoot someone. It's planning ahead. It's that prediction thing I've been talking about where you're trying to predict what the enemy is going to do, but you also need to predict where your teammates are, which is why sometimes you need to do a check to see where they're at before picking your position. But because of it, he then gets pressured out because and this is how it works when you have non-mobile, heroes. By the way, especially non-mobile DPS, is as the enemy team rotates towards you, you see the threat incoming and you rotate before it gets there. You need to start predicting when the danger is about to get to you and play at your optimal range. Punisher has great range. He's also scary up close. But the thing is, if he gets jumped on by too many people, he dies instantly. And also, there's a big blind spot behind him, I know as a Psylocke player, so he's very easy to assassinate. So I can't let people get behind me, and I can't let multiple people jump on top of me. I can fight 1v1 though with my shotgun. So what I try to do is bait the enemy into situations where I'm stronger. So here I notice that all of my team is sort of like at the front, and I want to go to an off angle and apply pressure. I don't necessarily always want to be standing grouped up with my team and doing that rock'em sock'em robots thing because everybody is just basically pumping damage and somebody's just waiting for a lucky headshot. And against a Hawkeye, I don't want to be standing near my teammates because I'm not a very lucky person and I'll take that stray arrow for sure. It's probably going to be me. So I take an off angle and it's much easier to shoot at people who are not, firing back. The Thing baits me in and starts attacking, and I switch to my shotgun. And because I'm bad, I don't use my right click a single time, and I end up getting lucky and taking him out. Because once again, I can take a 1v1 with a shotgun, even if it's on a tank. But because of the fact that Cloak had ulted on point, I am now rotating around and giving up some of that space. But I see the people back here, they're not in the Cloak ult, so I'm going to start applying pressure and trying to help my teammate. I'm just trying to apply pressure and follow up on what my teammates are doing. And once again, I'm going to go and start applying pressure from the side using this area as cover. And the moment that Hawkeye looks at me, I'm going to walk away. I am just going to not take the risk of getting sniped. And I immediately switch back to a different spot. Because once again, if you peek a sniper from the same window multiple times and you get shot in the head, that is entirely on you. Don't peek the sniper in the same window. They're waiting for you. So here we see Invisible Woman ult. And I know that now because they have that ult, they're going to take space for the next 6 seconds and I need to get out of there. So what I do is I try to practice and I say, hey, if I zipline right here, can I jump up to the roof? The answer is no. I learned this during this game. This is the reason why I learned new characters like on alternate accounts and stuff like that because of the fact that I'm like, there's only one way to really test how the game is played a lot of times, and that's just in the moment. And I just prefer playing comp than I do quick play. I don't like quick play. It doesn't feel right. So here, after the ult ends, then I hit my ult, which probably I shouldn't have done because Squirrel Girl used her ult. But I know that I can shred basically everybody, including tanks, which is the reason why the thing gets shredded here and I almost die. But even then, once again, even though I almost died, I knew I had cover right here. There's always the thing that I'm always wondering, where's my cover? Where can I be? I can't just expect it to get heals pumped into me at all times. So I'm constantly aware of where I want to be next in case things get dicey. Our lucky our Jeff gets a fat ult there. But now because they killed three and I saw that they killed three, I'm just gonna go and clean up in stagger mode. And here's where I make a mistake. I almost die, and I don't use my right click once again because I am bad and I am still learning. But here, I get away, I stand behind cover, and my Jeff saves me, right? Silver Jeff is saving me. Like, the teammates aren't bad a lot of times. It's literally just like, if you make it easier on them by having good positioning, the games get a lot less stressful while you're playing. So here, Bucky ults, and he takes out Jeff, and immediately, because he ults, and because I am mindful of my own position and being and planning ahead for incoming danger, I am near a building. I see him go up, and I back up into the room. Once again, I'm still in the window, and I'm still getting healed by my Luna, and I am now free from the Bucky's LOS. So he does not hit me at all, and as Thor collapses on him, then I can follow up on him. A lot of this is not just like, oh, you have better aim. That's the reason why like you can climb the ranks. It's not about aim. It's literally just about how you position yourself to make it easier. I never at any point in time left the LOS of my supports, and I was always near cover in case of the fact that damage came out and I needed to hide. And then I just strafe back and forth and I never even really move my mouse. And every time I need to reload, I'm back in the cover and I pop out and I shoot. And I back in the cover and I reload and I pop out and I shoot. It's just repeating that process. And here, I off angle, nobody's looking at me, and I'm shooting for free. And I see that the spider bot thing, I don't know what that name is. I need to learn these names. The spider bot goes down. I don't destroy it, but I know I can shoot it. So I pop out and I break it. And watch, the moment that Hawkeye looks at me, I immediately walk away again. But I also know that Penny is ulting, so I'm attempting to now rotate to give up space, and I really don't like the position I'm in right now. It's not safe for me. But I see Luna there ulting, so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I can walk out and I can take a peek, and I die for it. And now the thing is, in this situation, I was low, so I walked forward to get healed, which I did. And then the reason why I died was because I walked out too far from the left side here, and as I was applying pressure, I did not see that I poked out far enough for Bucky to see me. This was a really good play on his part. I forgot and or wasn't mindful of my positioning one time, and I paid the price for it. Whoa. Okay, now I'm back, and once again, see, this is the reason why deaths matter so much in this game. Look how long it's going to take me to get back, and how the team sort of falls apart as soon as people start dying. See, another death, another death, another death. Right? As soon as one person dies, everything starts to fall apart. But here I am here my Luna is out in front, and I am telling both Luna and Thor, who are on their way back, I'm like, we have 25 seconds. We need to win one fight. If we win one fight, the game is ours. And I'm telling them, do not go out. Come over here. Luna, stand next to me. Don't go out. Don't push. We have time. And even still, nobody's listening to me. Like your teammates are not going to listen to you sometimes, and that's just how they are. But the thing is, just as much as your teammates are making mistakes, the enemy is going to be making the same mistakes. So even though I'm screaming at them, like, please, please come back here, please don't go out there, they go out anyway. But now I want you to see that same thing I was doing at the start of the game, where Penny puts down a spider bot and doesn't realize that I'm over here. I can stand perfectly still and unload one clip entirely into the spider bot, and it's gone. There's nobody who can see me. There's nobody who can shoot at me. And even as the thing runs forward, I'm not concerned because his range is in this little tiny area. I have a deadlier range from this distance. So I am not worried of the fact that this is the only person that can see me. But because of the fact that I can shoot him safely, I do so. But then the moment I peek out, and this is where if you're playing a non-mobile DPS hero, your target prioritization changes in the moment where you don't shoot the tank, but you shoot past the tank and you shoot the squishies. And even though I don't shoot and hit the Hawkeye, I force him out of position by just threatening him. Now it goes back to shooting the tank because he's the closest thing to me. I see the squishy who's attacking, and once again, where am I? I'm undercover. So now I know that once he's looking at me, I know that I'm his target. So I start preemptively backing up. And if I was smart, I would have right clicked, but I'm not. So I luckily don't get hit by this. And once again, what you're going to see here is not great aim. This is just good positioning and predicting what's going to happen before it happens. I saw him ulting. I backed up to a place where I was already safe in cover. I knew I was playing near a health pack, so I knew that while shooting at him, if he hit me one time and I grabbed the health pack, I had an advantage. So you're going to see my aim be pretty terrible here as I pretty much just hold it in the same place, strafe back and forth, and end up killing him. But I had the advantage because of the fact that the entire time I was predicting what was going to happen before it happened. And I was just trying to play smart versus using my mechanical skill to just outplay someone. I was always knowing that, like, oh, someone's going to ult and they're going to come for me. And, if I just take a 1v1 with that Bucky and I wasn't near a health pack, there was a chance that he just shoots me and I die. But if he shoots me one time and I get a health pack, he'd have to throw in another shot or possibly have to reload before killing me, and I wouldn't need to, which is the reason why the entire time you're always got to be thinking ahead. Who can see me? Where's the LOS of my supports? How much time do I need? All of the stuff that that you're doing should be running through your head at all times to the best you can, so that way you can preemptively know what is going to possibly kill you. But because of it, also, Jeff gets a super huge ult again. And here, because I prioritized playing smart and staying alive, had destroyed the Penny bot, which made it easier, by the way. Because of the fact that I had destroyed that Penny bot, that makes it very easy for Jeff to ult and not be destroyed by the spiders. So I, without even trying or without even knowing, I had preemptively set up Jeff to get that ult, right? So ultimately, Jeff's kind of the carry here. Like, those huge ults really help save the game. And now, because I stayed alive, I can help clean up with my ultimate. Jeff had a really good ult. It's just like, I don't even think these players, in silver are bad. Like, we pushed and we tried our best with this team, and you saw that we didn't even get it to the first point. And then on defense, these same players also were able to hold it. And although I helped, I think that like lower elo players, like, they deserve more credit. When you give them the right setup, they actually can make good plays and they can heal. Like, it's just about how you position yourself and how you set up your team for success. Because even in all of these games, you're not a solo carry. You are a piece in the puzzle, and you do your best to help your team out and give them the best advantages that they can. It's not just simply, I'm just going out there and clicking every hit and killing everybody. Oh, we'll go to the next one. Okay, so this one is Scarlet Witch. I'm a little bit more mobile, a little bit less bursty. But here, you can see I am always near the cover. See, I'm always near the cover? I'm throwing out shots. And every single time I need to, I can dash right behind cover. I'm not relying on heals. I am not relying on my tank. I am relying on my own abilities. I play out in the open that way because I know that I have resources in order to get away. But now, once again, once I start to remove some of my resources, I am back behind cover. Who can see me? Well, I can attack these guys safely. Even though it's tanks, it doesn't matter. They're the ones that I can see and I can shoot safely. But now as they start to use their health in order to push us in, I start to back up. I'm trying to apply pressure to get my tank out. I take damage. I immediately shift away. And once again, I am behind cover here. I can see that the threat of Groot is not going to scare me, neither is Venom. From this range, no one can attack me to kill me, but I can still apply pressure to Venom. And I can do so to Wolverine as soon as he peeks in. I am playing within my maximum sort of like optimal range, right? I don't want to let them get closer to me. I throw out my stun because I have my abilities and I can just like, once again, when you have abilities, you kind of want to throw them off cooldown because if they're not being used, then there's possible kills or defenses that you're just missing out on. So I'm just spamming like crazy, but I'm playing at my optimal range. I am always trying to keep my, all the enemies over here on my right so I have this cover. And I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm merely just setting my team up for success. And as we have the advantage, I then put myself in a predictive spot of where I think the enemies are going to end up next time. And I'm always mindful of like, I'm never just walking out into the open. I'm constantly looking of like, where's my cover in case someone starts shooting at me. See? Because look, once Penny was in range to start shooting at me, I made it so the only person I could see was hopefully Penny. And here, I only took a couple of hits and I walked right behind cover. I'm never in sort of any crazy amounts of danger. And here, once again, he's my problem right now. Oh, this was a time I learned. I learned if we Mantis ult, which gives you a speed boost and a massive heal, you can Scarlet Witch ult pretty free. So that's the reason why I was playing aggressive there. It was a plan. But you see how even in the times where it's just like, I'm not just ulting and throwing it out there. I'm like, what's the best way to do this where I could still be alive? Where can I shoot in which I'm getting a ton of cover and I'm getting a ton of safety? And this is, by the way, like goldish somewhere. So like as it gets increasingly more difficult, it's still the same thing. I'm always playing the same way. You're always trying to be mindful of like, where should I stand? Where can my support see me? Where can the enemies not see me? And where can I make sure I'm only shooting at one person at a time? So I have some old clips of playing Psylocke, and I'll use that as an example because once again, it's always the same. No matter who I'm playing or what character I'm playing, it's always the same concept. Here was me stress testing something. I was wondering if I could like dash through and like get anything done, but with that shield, it was a bad idea. So I just had to ult. I know I'm not killing anyone else, so I canceled it early. But look, I'm shooting at Invisible Woman, right? After killing the Punisher, there's no one to my right. All of the enemies are over here. I have free LOS of Invisible Woman. This is just free damage, right? And this is GM, by the way. So now, because of the fact that I'm here, he's much quicker to respond to the threat of me. I'm not worried about Doctor Strange so much, but I'm pumping damage in from the side. This was extremely ballsy, but sometimes you just have to go for a play. And taking out the sport is huge. And then I walk back to my team for safety, and I get run over by squirrels. So that was unfortunate. So I'm coming back. See, I'm always like, even as I walk in and I'm rotating, I'm near cover, right? And if I'm not, I dash to safety. And look at this. I am poking Doctor Strange, but look at the person I want to shoot is Doctor Strange. No one else can see me. And now Invisible Woman ults. I'm just shooting damage to charge my ult. They're not looking at me. And the moment that they look at me, I dash away. And I cloak. Oop. I cloak and I get away. Once again, look at, I'm shooting at Invisible Woman. I have my cover on my left. I dash away when it gets too dicey, and I come back out and I try to reset. I don't die to try and defend the point. You know, dying doesn't matter. Like if you lose health and you lose space and you have to give up the point, sometimes you just have to. But it's better to just give up the point and try and recontest afterwards. Because now look, now that I come back in, I force Invisible Woman to use her double jump. And look at this angle that I'm always shooting from, right? And I preemptively dash. The reason why, once again, I do that is because of the fact that I'm not dashing after I take too much damage. I'm predicting I'm about to get shot again. I also say that we lost one. Here, look. I'm shooting. Nobody else can see me. I'm applying pressure. I'm pulling resources. And then once I start to pull attention, I get out of there and I'm waiting as like my team was just very uncoordinated at the moment. So I was waiting for them to regroup. And here, look, I am poking from afar against Cloak and Dagger, who is way in the back. Once I start to get pushed, I get out, I get to safety. I charge my ult because I know I'm close to it. I fall because I do not see it. And I see an isolated target. And I get a quick assassination. And I see a fat ult that I can go for. I see Magneto. I see he's low. I think I can kill him, and I was wrong. I got a little greedy there, thinking that he was alone, and he wasn't. But you can see how a lot of the times the reasons that I die are things that come at a surprise, right? I wasn't prepared for Squirrel Girl ult. I heard it go off, but I didn't think it was on the point next to my supports who looked like they were okay. And when Magneto killed me, or when they killed me there, it was because of the fact that like I saw Magneto low and I was planning to fight Magneto. I didn't know that two other people were going to surround me at once. The reason why I die isn't because the enemy team had better aim. It's because I didn't plan for what was about to happen. So here, there's ults going off. Oh, I messed up. Yeah, that was just a fat ult on his part. Well played. Oh, this was me experimenting. I didn't know I could go over here, so it was a cool little thing to discover. We lost our Moon Knight, which is fine because we come back in. And look, I can shoot at Namor, and I can freely back up to safety, and I'm only being seen by him. And as the map rotates and almost gets me killed, I'm like poking in a position where I can see him, but nobody else can see me. I'm shooting at the people at the back. Look, I'm just being a massive nuisance, but I'm always standing near cover. And I think at this point, I'm just like beating a dead horse. But because of the fact that like they're looking at me and they're distracted, but I have cover and safety, Namor doesn't see that my penny is right there and gets the free pick on him. And now I can go in. Now that they're down one, we have a numbers advantage. I can apply pressure much more safely. And I use my abilities to always get into another position where I'm safe. I'm trying to prioritize targets that are the supports, that are the squishies, that who's low. And then we take the point. You get the idea of understanding that what your positioning is and what things you can do to improve your aim are more than just hopping into like aim trainer and practicing your aim for 15, 30 minutes a day. Instead, be thinking to yourself ahead of time of the entire map layout, the entire board here. Who can I shoot? Like if you want to pick a target, pick that target and pick where you can shoot at them safely from. and where you're basically trying to improve your odds of like your uh, maximum efficiency, where you are at the perfect range where you are deadly, but they have a disadvantage. And always, what I'm trying to do is put myself into situations where I'm trying to capitalize on someone who's not paying attention, and uh, usually assassinate someone in the back line, right? That's my advantage as Psylocke. And for Punisher, what I'm doing is I'm poking and taking slightly less risky off angles to shoot at, whoever I can while also not grouping up directly with my team. Because once again, a lot of times when people group up with their team, everybody is shooting down the same path. Take a slightly different angle and always be mindful of your cover and try and pick a target, whether it be a tank or a support or a DPS, whoever is out of position that uh, you can shoot at the safest, least risky option, right? There's times when you need to take risks, but lots of times you really don't have to. Part of this game is realizing that you can actually rely on your teammates, right? If you pull resources out of people, you don't necessarily even have to get the kills. Once you pull the resources out of you or out of the enemy, even silver players can kill these guys and win and do well. It's just a matter of like making sure that no matter what rank you're in or what hero you play, you position in a smart way, right? You don't want to be the reason your team loses, right? But even in games like this, where once again, you saw my Punisher aim, it's not fantastic. So, but what I did the entire time was like, oh, well, if I stand here, I can freely shoot and back up my team and my tanks from a distance. And if Bucky ults, he can't hit me in this room. But if I do get attacked, I have a health pack I can back up into, and I'm going to lure them into a range in which I am deadlier than they are, right? This is the planning that's happening. It's not, "Oh, I'm gonna bring him in here because I have better aim than this guy." It's really just like, "Oh, well, I'm gonna give myself the best advantage as possible, and in doing so, I'll give my team the best advantage as well." So, when you're out there and you're, practicing, you practicing in your games and you're dying to stuff, ask yourself, after each death, like, "Could I have positioned in a different way to have avoided that death? Was it I wasn't paying attention to my right side or my left side, or maybe I was positioning in a place where my supports couldn't see me either. There's more to this game than just thinking about, oh, where can I shoot people from? What's the best way to apply damage? You have to think of, six enemies and five allies on your side and where everybody's positioned. And the more you keep that stuff in mind, the easier it becomes to sort of rotate with the enemy, but also rotate with your team. And if you do this, this is what where your game sense comes in. Uh, it's not as game sense will take you a lot farther than just your mechanical abilities alone. So if you keep the stuff in mind, you'll die a lot less, and you'll help secure a lot more kills, and you'll secure a lot more wins just by being alive and pulling resources. Anyway, I hope this helps. I know this is sort of a lot to think about in game, but if you practice it, I'm sure it'll get easier in time, just like it did for me. But yeah, that was today's lesson on, I guess positioning 101. I hope you guys found this one useful too.